before you were born, before man forgot his ways, I was someone else's familiar. Last ambassador between the den and the outside. Her name was Eve, the woman your parents bore your name from. Nah, I mean I get multiple endings, but it's like I'll just stick with what I threw myself into, so yeah, big sad. Extremely talented conjurer that made every mogwai in the den whisper in awe. Her first mogwai went by the name of Nyx. She was a simple and shy wisp mogwai, Eve's first and most dear companion. For years together, they traveled to worlds only possible in dreams. Her second mogwai went by Caesar. Caesar! And he literally oofed! It was such a rare sight to have a Yang mogwai's heart sync with a female conjurer. Her Wuji alignment made this possible. Eve's ethereal life would be full of wonder. So it has to do a lot of like awards in order to like all of the awards given? Ooh, that sounds like a completionist goal. So I think I'm good. And then I'll replay it like I guess in my like own spare time too, so yikes. Nah, it's like I'm not a person for multiple endings unless it was like a visual novel game. As a trained general from the den, he made sure you've never lost a fight. I was our third and last mogwai, Glenn, the common cat sith. In my younger days, I don't think I would have been someone you would call a friend. My interests at the time laid solely on gambling, fine wine, and easy women. Pure debauchery. Pure Chad. I'll never understand how a pure-hearted girl could pick me as a familiar. You know, you need a gang of a strong one, a shy one, and one that really doesn't give a shit. For the first time. After hearing of her feats, the queen opened her heart once more and invited us to her court. There's only one good ending, all the others are bad. Well, too bad I'm gonna get a bad ending. Han Vereen, strong, ruthless, and efficient. One of the oldest mogwai in our realm. Knew humans before humans knew themselves, her wisdom only matched by her temper. She was always accompanied by her young, striking husband, King Vereen, that didn't really talk shit over, so yeah, the matriarchy was long dead. Known to Caesar as Long, the lonely dragon of the castle. Why? Why do you have a name like that, god dang it? The queen sought for her work more than love. He grew bitter and jaded as centuries passed. Bruh, just talk? Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna say some NSFW right off the bat. Just talk, and it's like if it's a work distracted thing, that thing goes wild. And you could have had some good old century like bonds, but I'm just saying. Haha. Despite managing to spawn an egg, without love, it never had the chance to hatch. Because bad communication, man! Bruh, I'm so degenerate to know, like, other than the NTR thing, like, you could have done like a centuries of good old, like, distraction evasion, stuff like that. I'm just saying. And then probably the egg would be able to hatch within the century. And then you guys can go into fighting and then the NTR route again. A symbol of embarrassment for the queen. A thing to be gawked at by her audience. Yeah, poor queen. Because again, nobody ever fucking communicated in centuries. God dang it. Eve was the queen's way of giving humans a second chance. After her first betrayal. Unfortunately, Mogs prefer emotion over logic when it comes to choosing actions. With our constant visits to the castle, Long and Caesar grew close. Yeah, no duh. Unlike with the Queen, Long found solace in Caesar's company, his first actual friend. Nah, bruh! I'm a trash Fujoshi to know where that went. In this haze, they lost their senses. Long yearned for a part of him to leave the den. And Caesar, without thinking, complied. Thus, an egg between the two has spawned. The Queen soon caught wind and was enraged. It had been a millennium since her last sorrow. I mean, okay, let's be real. If they given like another years in time to open up to humans again in order to resurface, this would have been long avoided. But then it would be super short. And you can't have something super short without some drama. Not only is it a scandal if a manticore hatched, bruh, manticore sounds cool as shit, but it was proof that giving humans another chance only brought misery yet again. Not really until, you know, what happened, but you know. Wrought with desperation, she sought for me. She knew my disregard for my comrades. Yeah, because I was a fucking Chad. That and the fact that, she's technically not the tsundere at that time. I think the tsundere was nixed because she was, shy. She promised me that if I accepted her request, she would drown, or I would drown in bounty only imaginable. She had me procure a poison from the most renowned, apothecary in the Outlands. Huh, that's her cute little bug sprite form. I love it. After our appointment, I was never to see that apothecary again. Only whispers remain. Ah, nice. The Queen was wise, and she knew how to destroy a Mogwai from the inside. To seal Eve's life was retribution towards Caesar for stealing her king. That wasn't Eve's fault. That was the king's fault for not telling you he couldn't get touchy while you were working. She had an expendable misery once before and survived. She knew he would not. Ah. Either way, just saying this, it's like, goddamn, it's just a whole, like, fucking, like, MTV thing right there. Like, yikes. After realizing the grief this would cause, not only to humans but to Mogwai as well, I couldn't stomach the thought. I knew I had to stop her. This was my means of penance. Or atonement. Should have been a better word. My rapier would be too thin to slice through the hide of the den's most powerful dragon. Cause isn't it like scales? With nary a thought, I took one of Eve's sacred daggers and dipped it in the poison. As I approached the Queen's quarters, my legs slipped out from underneath me. How does that happen? But then again, I'm guessing this is a clumsy cat. I had dropped the knife in panic. Unable to do the deed, she found out. I blamed Eve. The next day, the Queen accused Eve of treason. Whop! Oh dear. Her smirk told it all. She knew I'd given her a window to rally in the den against Outset. Again! Could have waited a few more years so then you guys could resurface again, but oh well. The den knew Eve, but the Queen's fear-mongering drew their hearts against reason. Well, yeah. Again, the matriarchy was gone long before we could. She ordered guards, Caesar's own platoon, to slay us, all on sight for our betrayal. Caesar, no! Nix and Caesar fought while I wallowed in my own guilt, unable to move. I had to think fast. My heart was used to guilt, but not like this. I had to help. I mean, yeah, you kind of exposed and tried to get this long-ass apology video. It was great. As a guard was about to strike her, I panicked and carried Eve off into Outset as quickly as I could. leaving Nynx and Caesar behind to deal with the punishment that was rightfully mine. My eyes met Nynx. The sorrow in them was all I could see. Her words fell on deaf ears. Eve pleading, calling her name, but my legs would not stop running. As a general, Caesar played his guards with ease, even with the egg in hand. Ah, poor Caesar! However, when it came to the queen, well, that's a different story. I can only recall stories passed down from catsif to catsif during my travels. Oh, the mini catsifs are great! Caesar did not defeat her. He failed miserably. How could he? She was akin to a god. Well, yeah, I mean, fuck, dragons are the highest of archery, I guess. The queen, mad for revenge, possessed Caesar's weakened frame. She bore herself into her core. Such an ability only possessed by a few. He had stolen her life, so now she steals his. His body became her vessel. He became a mere puppet as she took over. As for Nynx, she was sent to the castle's jail. She went quietly. Hope was mere a word to her. Poor Nynx. Nynx was just dragged into this mess. But again, like, I guess the only thing that I could say for multiple ending wise is, yeah, this is me going into the bad ending because, yeah, I don't put that much effort unless it has to do something like otome wise, I would say. Otherwise, I'm just like, oh, I'm good, fam. 200 years of isolation was her sentence. Without Eve, it might as well be forever. Well, yeah, a human can't live that long. She possessed in her new form as a way of instilling fear into the den. A walking punishment display. She forced them to know his agonized face as a warning of those friendly with humans. Ooh, yikes. The queen, possessed as the king, spread a rumor stalling that Eve had wanted to take the throne. With Nynx's image by Eve's, the den turned against all Wisp, branding them responsible. Ah! Oh, the Minotaur! Yeah! Minotaur gatekeepers were disposed for allowing a traitor to walk into the den. Ah, poor Minotaurs! Cerberus were chosen as replacement. Loyal hounds that made sure outset was but an exit. Long had fled the den and took the queen's egg as a last revenge act. He knew it wouldn't hatch under the queen's newfound recklessness. He feared for its state. Yeah, because I'm guessing like this is taking a long while for incubation if like, you know, both of them were able to sync and you know, I'm just putting it was first the queen's fault for not noticing and it was also the king's fault for not speaking up. The king is such a simp. It was so ooh. Now I see it's like everybody's fucking guilty and Nynx is just thrown into the sad pit. Hunters quickly ambushed him as he exiled the den, slain on the spot, egg in hand. Rumor has it that the hunter had kept his egg as a trophy for his demise. Mog's whisper of a dragon raised as a mogwai hunter. A weapon against its own kind. How to train your diminished dragon. But as I've said before, that's only a rumor. Eve could not handle the loss of her familiars. Sorrow quickly took hold of her. I was the last mogwai she had, the one that had betrayed her trust. I had to break our pack. There was no way I could save her. Misery begets, I think? Yeah, misery begets more misery. I was useless. Out of, perhaps, love, I still watched over her to make sure she was alright. She married another human and had children with him. It was her way of branding the gigantic scar on her heart. Or bandaging. Oof. I can't read. I wanted to help her, but how could I even show my shameful face to her? The den and the outside grew further apart as years passed, all because of a coward. A coward named Glenn Gremory. Until one day, I saw you. After waiting years, you were the one viable descendant she bore. I had to keep these feelings at the back of my mind, just to keep you safe. I considered you my penance, my second chance. I waited to make it up to Eve Zinn. You are my way of bandaging the gigantic scar on my heart. It wasn't technically your fault. Again, I would say it's just more of the ruling's fault. Those lonely days faded last forever. I heard your voice echo through my heart.